Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a disassembly for you of this little guy right here. This is the CKF FIF20, that is. This is the smaller version of a knife that I've previously reviewed, the CKF FIF23. And that's FIF, by the way, not fifth as in the one after the fourth, but before the sixth. Nope, FIF. This is a knife that is really freaking good. I really liked its big brother, but its big brother was just too big. And I say that a lot about CKF products, but guys, come on. But that one was, again, very, very good, but just gigantic. This guy is also really, really good, but its biggest problem right now is actually just that the pivot is loosened a little bit. There it is. It's basically out. So what I'm hoping is I can get in here, I can use a little bit of Loctite on this guy, and that I will be in good-to-go shape. Pop that loose. Beautiful. Oopsie. And pop this loose. There appears to be a third pin in the middle there, which I won't argue with. So far, construction-wise, seems good to go. This Zerk is not lifting off. Maybe it's glued in place. Maybe it's, hidden hardware. All right. Screwed in. Again, hidden hardware for that side, and we are apart. What we see here is that everything looks about like you'd expect. There is some internal milling on the titanium, which is actually kind of, impressive given the fact that there's really not that much thickness to it. But they've really, it seems, been going the extra mile there. We have our Zerk backspacer here. I'll just try and leave that pin in position. And then we have this set of bearings, this blade. We have a lock bar insert. We have a ceramic detent ball as well as ceramic bearings. This is pretty straightforward so far. If you're ever curious about any of the tools I'm using during my disassembly process here, pardon me, first thing in the morning here, go ahead and check out nickshabazz.com/tools, and I will get this guy, or you'll, see me describe everything that I'm using over here. Yeah, this is very much first thing in the morning. I am doing this before work because I want to carry the knife at work, and because the pivot had came loose. So, here we are. All right, I'm going to fetch a Q-tip, get up in there with some rubbing alcohol on the Q-tip, and just get up inside the bearing race here, clean that out, and then I'll also get the pivot, just to make sure everything looks good to go. On this side, it looks like we actually have some kind of a thicker grease running in there. And then we have a stainless steel washer in the on this side, which is really never a bad thing. I mean, construction-wise, this looks great. CKF tends to do really nice work. It kills me every damn time that it's all limited edition, but oh God, is their work generally good. They are working with an excellent factory to do all this. Yeah. So, clean this up here. And then we are good to go. We're good to put this guy... Oh, no. I want to clean these bearings off. Just running these back and forth in the cloth here. I wish they would use a little bit of a less aggressive thread locker on the pivot. But you know what? Honestly, I'd rather have it this way, where there's not thread locker and I can apply my own, as opposed to the other approach where they put on way too much thread locker. And I have trouble maintaining the tool. This is the way to go if you're going to go that way. Let's clean this off real quick. Just make sure. I already wiped it off, but okay. So I'm going to use some 10-weight nano oil here, just because that'll give me a nice, nice free droppy action, and that's sort of already a thing for this knife. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit of oil into the detent ball hole there. And that will allow me to, and I'll spread it down the detent ball path a bit. That should allow me to get a nice smooth action on the close. Now we go ahead and we continue the process by putting a drop of oil right about there. And the drop of oil here. I've actually made an effort to put that drop of oil such that it is also up against the pivot, such that part of that oil will go up inside that pivot area and provide me with a little bit of extra lubrication around the pivot. The knife is otherwise very, very solid. Otherwise, there's not really an otherwise there. The knife is very, very solid. So that's nice. And we are ready to put this guy back right together here. So we will start off by putting this into position. What do I want to do now? I want to... I'll go ahead and I'll put in the pivot. I don't know that there's a strong order of operations here, so to speak. I can see arguments for going either way, but one thing that is for sure is I want to make sure everything's good to go and scented and whatnot before I put the carbon fiber part back on. Not because it's, a big problem if I don't, but because I'd have to remove the carbon fiber if I needed to access these two back screws again. So what I've done here is I've used a little bit of a Loctite on a stick. It's a blue Loctite here. So not the most aggressive thing ever. I want to be careful with the zirconium bolster here, just because Zirc is a metal that scratches, well, a little bit easier than some. Okay, so I've got that sort of lightly tight, if you will. It's not super tight, but it's, I've tightened it a little bit. No sign of thread locker on this screw either, but I'll go ahead. Pardon me, I'll put a little bit on there. It's not crucial, necessarily, to have it there, but it sure doesn't hurt anything. The reason I say it's not as crucial is because the screw won't ever fall out because it's behind this carbon fiber bit here. And again, you shouldn't expect that to fall out, but, when you're dealing with a $500 piece of cutlery here, it's, holy crap, that's smooth. Oh. Yeah, that actually got a little smoother. So centering is right there. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see if I can loosen this pivot just very slightly here. And whether that wins me any improvements. There is zero blade play. Yeah, that'll do. That's good. And just going to try going a little bit further here, see if that wins me anything. Whew. Yeah, so right now we are in a very loose state with the, well, not very loose, and there's no play or anything, so it's absolutely A-okay with the pivot here. And so now that I've gotten everything kind of dialed in where I want it to be, I'm going to go ahead, actually, just in case, put a little bit more tension on there. But now I'm going to go ahead, I loosened these back screws here, and I'm retightening them with the pivot in the proper positioning, and we should be good to go. One more time before I put the carbon fiber back on. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. All right, now we put the carbon fiber back on. Now, the one thing that is slightly unusual, maybe, or that I can see some people getting their panties twisted about, so to speak, or perhaps their briefs and or boxers. Either way, somebody might get their undergarments twisted about the fact that there are no locating pins or anything like that on this carbon fiber. The only thing holding this carbon fiber in place is these two screws. I don't feel like that's a major concern. In fact, it's a very common construction technique, but it is something that you're going to want to keep in mind, because that means that any lateral force on this bolster or anything like that, this direction is covered by the Zirc there, which feels quite firmly attached. Potential, oh no, that's right, we saw it screwed in. But either way, it is just something to keep in mind as you're doing this. And everything is tightened up. And I did a little bit of thread locker on those screws as well. And again, I'm using a blue thread locker here. Yeah, that's, yeah, that's good. That is a freaking okay. No complaints here about any of that action right there. Maybe I could be running this pivot a little looser, but honestly, I don't see a need, so I think we are good to go. So, there you go. I hope this has been interesting to you, and most of all, I hope that you have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.